What? A world tour? Who saw this coming? Me. I saw this coming. It's episode 25. Come on, guys. Of course we're going to do a world tour. It's a quarter of 100 episodes. We've been in this world for like a year and a half, I think. Yeah, come on. It's a world tour time. That being said, this is going to be a very off the cuff video. I'm gonna try and do it in one take, so this is probably gonna be like my worst video ever. But you guys can bear with me. I've got a list of all of the episodes so I can actually remember what all I've done in this world. I've got some warm tea next to me. I've got some cold tea next to me. I also have some water. I like my drinks. What can I say? And yeah, we're just gonna wing it and try and remember everything that we've done in 3,031 days. Now, of course, those aren't all like played days. A lot of that I'm sure is AFK, so it's probably more like 2,500. Actually, we can look at this, can't we? We'll go like more in depth into some of the statistics later. I'm sure they're not really crazy, but I do want to look really fast so we kind of know off the cuff. Yeah, okay. Time played is at about 30 days, and then time with the world open is about 34 days. So that means about 4 days we've been AFK. If I did the math really fast, carry the 4. Each Minecraft day is 15 minutes, I believe, and then each night is 10 minutes. No, that's wrong. Each day is 20 minutes and each night is 10 minutes. No, that's not right. Hold on. Each day and night is 20 minutes. Really? That's it? I thought the days were longer. Okay, interesting. Learn something new every day. 20 minutes. 4 days times 24 hours a day times 60 minutes is 5,760 minutes divided by 20 minutes a day. And that's roughly about 300 days we've been AFK. Really? Only 300? That's kind of... I don't know if that's right. You guys can double check the math, but if that's right, then that puts us at about 2,700 days, not quite 3,030 days. But nevertheless, we have done a lot in this world. This is basically it in this one screenshot right here. But we do have a lot to go through, and this is probably going to be my longest video. So, get some popcorn, get some tea, and buckle up because this is going to be a ride. Let's see, according to my list here, our first thing that we did in this world was not technically our starter house. It was something over there with like a pile of chests, but I'm going to say the first like official build was our starter house. Now, this thing is probably my favorite starter house. I did have a starter house in the world that I kind of debuted my YouTube channel with that about 40 people saw. That one was probably my favorite starter house ever. This one is a close second. I really love this one. It's very simple. Obviously, you can see like 3 different blocks that I used, but it works so well and it contrasts the green and everything that I have in the area very nicely. Dark oak is like my favorite block. I mean, one of my favorite blocks. I guess I have a lot of favorites. But we started out the world here with kind of like a tutorial kind of thing of me walking through how I was building this house. And it's very, very bad. So if you go back and you watch episode 1 because of this, I apologize and I'm sorry. I guess that's kind of just like saying I'm sorry twice, but you have been warned. We'll just say that. I really loved playing with like the different heights on this build and having like the different ways to get in. We have this back patio area, which is like honestly probably the main way that I come in the house, right into the storage room. We have obviously the front door here. I use that a lot less often. And then we have also our side area here. I think having multiple doors and access points to different parts of your build is a great way to like just... it adds character. It adds character. We'll say that. And we also have a way, I guess a 4th way in down here on our docks, which was episode 2 or 3. I think 3, because episode 2, we finished the starter house. But episode 3, we worked on this dock here and this ship and also this cave, which is the 4th entrance into our house. This nether portal cave is the coolest nether portal cave I've ever done. Interesting. And one of like 2 that I've ever done. So we have a lot of work to do in the future. I'm sure we can come up with a lot cooler one sometime. But for now, this is the coolest one and it's going to stay that way. But yeah, as I said earlier, it leads up into the basement of our house, which is quickly becoming a shulker monster and a catch-all. But this is where I do the majority of my smelting and it leads right into the storage area. Now, moving on, episode 4, we worked on that little build right there. I'm not going to talk about when I put these fields in because honestly, I don't remember. They just kind of appeared at some point and That's how I'm gonna leave that. But we worked on this build in episode 4. I wanted to create a wheat farm, I believe, because 1.19 was coming out, and I wanted packed mud. I obviously did not use it that much. I think I've used it in like 3 or 4 builds, but I wanted this wheat farm basically for packed mud, and also it was kind of like a food source. But it was a fun challenge to try and piece this all together. At one point, now that I'm thinking about it, this area up here was a village. That's where we got our villagers from. But since then, the village has been demolished, and our world has changed a lot since those early days. But this wheat farm is still kicking it. It still produces. I believe at this point in time, it's out of shears, so it's not getting any honeycomb, but we're full anyway. I did start converting all of the wheat into bone meal at the back pretty recently. Recent little renovation there. But for the most part, this build has stayed the exact same. I will try and remember to put timestamps in the video, like in the little cards that pop up. So anytime I'm talking about a build or an episode specifically, hopefully that episode will pop up in the top. I've never done that before. So, fingers crossed you actually see that. If not, there's a playlist that's going to be linked somewhere. And yeah, it'll have all the videos that we've had, and we'll have all the videos that we will continue to have, because a world tour is not the end of a world. This world I plan on keeping for as long as I play Minecraft. Something like Ethos Lab. He has his world that's been going on for like 12 years. So if we can make it to like 5 or maybe 10, we'll see. But I want to keep it nonetheless for a very long time. Moving along, episode 5, we basically just explored and got netherite. So maybe now is a good time to go show you the nether. No, we'll save the nether for later, because I actually do have a nether hub episode. But episode 6, we also did some exploration. We went to an ancient city and basically pooped our pants a couple times. That was a lot of fun. I didn't die, I don't think. Pretty sure I haven't died to a warden yet, but that was a lot of fun. It was pretty new to the game and a really cool looking ancient city. So I do recommend you go check out that video, because I thought the aesthetics of the area were incredible. And it made for a really fun first time in an ancient city. Now, episode 7, we built this beautiful barn here. We freestyled this. I kind of based it off one of my old designs from an old world. And honestly, it's just a very barny barn. It's very much just sitting here. It doesn't actually have a purpose. There's no farm or anything in it. It just kind of is here to hold some animals. It holds a lot less animals now that I moved all the horses out of here, but we still have a lot of the cows and sheep and pigs from whenever we first settled in this area. We also have these frogs here, Big O Bop and the 4th Street Hoppers. This gang of frogs has been here for, I think, since about the time that this barn was here. We still need to make a farm with them. We have some more frogs in the nether that will eventually make into a frog light farm. I just haven't used frog lights, believe it or not, since the 1.19 update came out, and I really need to do that. Episode 7 was also the episode that we put all of these beaches in, and also finished our nether portal area. And I think that's pretty much all we did in that episode. At some point in time, we will have to do something with that chicken jockey. I don't know yet what we're going to do, but he has a place somewhere. And while I'm thinking of that, I want to take a visit to the Admiral. He's still cooped up in this ship, and unfortunately, his statue that we had in one of our episodes got destroyed whenever I accidentally deleted the chunk whenever I was updating my world. And yeah, we'll have to get back on that and get him a statue again. And then also, Mrs. Admiral has been popping out babies like crazy. Mrs. the Admiral, yeah, that's right. That is your name, I remembered. Oh, also, we have Mr. I didn't forget your name. Yeah, Squib Jr. Squib the original. He went and he flew into space. That's what we're going to say. He didn't die. He didn't suffocate. He flew off into space. And we were left with his son. Now, episode 8, we really got to building. We built up that rock there and the lighthouse that sits on top of it. Also, that building behind me that you can see, that's supposed to be like a turtle sanctuary. We never actually filled it with turtles, so that's something that we should do one of these days. I also wanted to put like a little sniffer outpost up here right next to it, because this is supposed to be like a rescue area where these people are working here. They're on the coast. They go out and they rescue sea turtles. They bring them back here. They rehabilitate them, and then they release them into the wild. And obviously, there are no sea turtles in there, so we should do that at some point. But I love how this build came together. Honestly, that episode was probably the first episode that I had a lot of building and really got to practice with some of the new blocks and just kind of express like my creativity on the world. I mean, the barn is pretty standard Minecraft stuff, but I thought this was pretty unique to me, and I really enjoyed working on it and putting it in the world. But also, we had a third build that episode, this windmill tutorial coming at some point soon because a lot of people have been asking for it, but this windmill was also put in that episode. We used some of the new bricks, and that was pretty much it. We just experimented with, I think, shading here. Yeah, we have kind of like the darker shadows, some lighter portions of it, trying to feel like the sun was coming down at some angle that I can't really tell right now, but we also added some shading with the light gray wool onto the windmill itself. And it's my favorite windmill that I've ever done. Also, to this day, the only windmill that I've ever done. We have another one over at our horse sanctuary, but if you take a look really, really closely, you'll notice that they are the exact same, but different colors, but don't tell anybody. Over here, we have just some natural details that would be around a windmill. Because if you didn't know, windmills have like actual purposes. They don't just sit there and, circle and do this the entire time. Windmills actually serve a purpose, and this one's purpose is to be a grain grinder. So this thing, that little gearbox up there, rotates this main central pillar, and it grinds up some wheat and some grain, and that's why we have all of this wheat and grain out here, and now I can't get out. Yeah, that's why all this wheat is out here. Moving along, we have this area that the keen-eyed viewers will notice looks a lot different than the last time we were in my world. Episode 9 was the episode that we beat every single boss in Minecraft. We killed the Wither, we killed the Warden, we killed the Ender Dragon, and we stole its child. And we put it all in a trophy hall. Now this looks a lot different than the last time because I renovated it. I really hated what I did to this exterior. I butchered it. At the time, I really wasn't sure what I wanted to put around it. I decided on just doing some terraforming because I really wanted to keep this natural rock formation that kind of crests over and creates this nice arch and natural pathway through it. But it did not turn out well. It looked really, really bad. So this is the exact same. The walkway up is a little bit changed, but for the most part, the interior is the same. The exterior just got a very needed facelift. But we'll go take a tour on the inside. This is where I have all of the world maps, and now that it's day 3000, we're due for another one as soon as I'm done recording this video. We have our backup armor. This is like one of 2 or 3 sets that we have. We should put some armor trim on that at some point, but this is like in case we ever die and we need to go get our stuff. That's the armor that we go and take, and we destroy whatever killed us. We have all of the maps hanging here on signs. We got day 3000 and day 4000, which means in about 1,000 days, we're going to need to expand this area in some way or create another map room, map hall, some kind of thing. Or maybe we just need to have a new base. No, I'm kidding. We're nowhere near done with this area. But I guess whenever we do finish out the area, we could probably just have one final map like we do have this first map. Because at this point, we are very, very full. This is the most recent map. You can see we have pretty much the entire area covered. We have a lot changed in this area. Basically, all of this is now changed. And yeah, not much else in here because the town hall is over in that area of the map. So really, we just need to fill in this area, and that'll be this map completed. I honestly think we could do that in 1,000 days. But moving on, we did collect also the mini bosses of each Minecraft boss. I guess they're not really mini bosses of the bosses themselves, but we have an evoker, I think. I think that's the name. We have a piglin brute and we have an elder guardian head, all on respective blocks that make sense for like the mini bosses themselves. And then we have the 3 big bosses. I need to change this out for like an actual wither head. We have that on an iron block because I don't really have any other block that would go with that. We have the warden on a diamond block and the dragon on a netherite block. Pretty cool aesthetic in here. Not much change whenever I did the renovation, just the roof a little bit, and yeah, just the roof actually. But since we're here and you haven't seen it yet, it also leads out into this garden area. It's a little dark right now. Maybe I should sleep. We have these beautiful gardens with some coral flowers and some flower beds. Over here, this leads us to the front area right there. This pathway walks here. Also, I don't know if you saw it on the way in. We added a little torch flower garden at the front here. Continued the mangrove and deep slate theme on the exterior, and then added the new cherry logs onto the roof. But still, all in all, try to keep the same theme as the original build and, of course, the interior. Back here around the corner, we have some more gardens, and we also have some fountains and some garden statues. This guy looks like a mushroom, and I love it. These gardens on either side are paralleled, and this leads down here to this pathway that comes through the archway like I was talking about earlier. This area is still unfinished. I think I want to have like a fishing dock around here, but I also have some future plans for that area, so we'll see if this part changes. This is a little sidetrack, but we're going to take a flyby and just kind of show you it from the air. The terraforming is very similar to what it was before I renovated it, so we tried to keep some of that theme as well. I think this angle right here is my favorite. I love the way that the roof came out. I love like this style with the buttressing. And I also think that the cherry logs make such a great roof texture. It's such like it's dark without being too ominous. And it's also purple, and purple is my favorite color. While this might not be my favorite shade, purple is still my favorite color. All in all, I'm very happy with this renovation, and a little sad to see the original go, but obviously the idea of the trophy hall is still there. The interior is still the exact same, so it's still with us, but it looks a lot better now. Now, of course, around that time, it was also Halloween, and I had this really great idea to add a super scary, spooky mansion underground. And I don't know if you guys have ever played Black Ops 2 Zombies, but the idea was kind of like that buried game mode, or not game mode, but the buried map where there was like a town underground. And that was kind of like where the inspiration stemmed from this haunted mansion. I wanted it to feel like something ominous and spooky had been buried here underground and was like left alone for ages. And this is supposed to be something like a witch's mansion, something just spooky, scary with dead petrified trees, red plants, skulls, graves, dead plants everywhere. It's just something that had the atmosphere of spook. And I am so happy with how this came out. In terms of like creativity and originality, I was very happy with this build. I thought it looked so cool. I thought it was such a great idea. I haven't seen anyone do anything like this. And I was just all in all very, very happy with it. And I'm still extremely happy with it to this day. I needed some way to incorporate some skylight and some natural light into this, so it kind of like highlights this middle area, that door that's been eaten by a zombie, I think. Something that like draws our attention into this middle of the build and creates just a spooky atmosphere. Now, of course, in the actual building, we have our skeleton farm that's down here. Also, one of the first things that we did in the world, I don't remember what day it was, what episode it was, but this was, I think, one of the first builds, if not older than the starter house itself. But yeah, we had this area here to get all of our levels, get all of our enchantments. And I still, believe it or not, come down here pretty frequently for bones because bone meal is pretty important. But as you can see, it's all empty because I use all the bones. Now, back outside and right where we are, we have the one-stop rock shop and quarry. This was a fun little build I threw together with a couple little buildings around and, of course, the quarry itself. I really enjoyed throwing this together, playing around with the texturing on this storage building and just the layout in general of this place. I think it's really cool. We have obviously like 4 or 5 different parts that you can see right here at the front. I forgot about this. Life's hard. Don't we know it? Because it's a quarry and they deal with rocks all the time. But right here we have the rock shop itself where they sell all the different kinds of rocks, all the different kinds of like cut jewels and different versions of the minerals. And then right here is the workshop where they actually create all of the rocks that they sell in the rock shop. And of course, down here, we also have our mason villagers because it makes perfect sense to have mason villagers in a rock shop. But this is where we get some of our bricks. We trade in a lot of stone here and we get some terracotta and stuff from here occasionally. I really need a lot more of these guys. But yeah, we haven't been down here in a while. Back up at the top and across this way here, we have our furnace, which is where all the rocks get smelted down and get turned into, workable material that then gets turned into sellable material. But right next to this furnace area, we have the storage area, the storage depot, whatever you want to call it, and the bigger kind of rock piles out here in the middle of this little space. I'm really blanking on the name here for some reason. But we have a cane. I'm not good with long videos. I'm tripping over everything. We have a crane right here in the middle. It brings rocks up from the quarry and it puts them on these piles. And this is where obviously the magic happens of the quarry itself. But really fast, I want to talk about like this journey that I tried to create for the rock itself. So it gets mined out of the quarry and brought up here and then into this storage area. From the storage area, it moves its way along to the furnace. From the furnace, it goes to the craftsman, and then from the craftsman, it goes into the shop. I wanted to create kind of a journey for these rocks. Not that they're fairly important, but I wanted to create some kind of a feeling that they were being brought along on this little road here. And also, we have a way for like all the workers and stuff to get down. This is supposed to come up, and this is where like all the townspeople come if they're working in the quarry, whatever. This is how they get down. We just fly down because we're cool like that, and we are in the main part of the quarry. I loved adding these scaffolding parts here to kind of hold up some of the rock, kind of add as like extra foundational bits, especially with those iron bars right there. That was kind of the same idea. We have little cups lying around, piles of rocks and ore everywhere. And I thought this area was a lot of fun trying to piece together all the details. Right here, we have this pallet. You can see all these are sitting on little feet like this. And then right there is the pallet that was supposed to be sitting here. See a little continuity, little movement in the build. I thought that was really cool. We also have this pathway that circles all the way around and goes down to where we get some of our stone. We don't really use this very often, but this is where I get some of my stone as of recently. There's a couple of details down here. Cool aquifer, because we dug right into a cave, which I thought was really cool. But this is like an aquifer down there, and I thought it was cool to have this little wall here. Just subtle little details that I loved adding into this area and playing around with my imagination and just kind of letting it go wild. To this day, one of my favorite quarries, I haven't really ever made quarries before. I'm used to just like digging down in straight lines and like calling that a day. So working on this project was really cool and different for me, and I really enjoyed that about this area. Now, moving on from probably one of my favorite builds to one of my least favorite builds, we have our library. I think it's cool in concept. I liked having the two different buildings separated by like a skywalkway. It just didn't come out well. This was another freestyle build, and I mean, some elements of it are good. I learned a lot from it, obviously. We're a lot better now, but I don't love it, and I am going to keep it. I'm not going to change it in any way like I did the trophy hall, because that was just straight up ugly. This one I can live with, and it's an actual building. It's not just terraforming around it like the trophy hall was. One thing that we are going to change is the interior. We're going to refurbish it and change it out, because also I feel like I wasn't really trying. I don't know what's going on. I know this is supposed to be like a mural, but I don't dig it. I don't vibe with it. We're going to eventually someday change it. I do think the layout is cool. It's just some of it is not what I want it to be. Initially, it was meant for some villagers. I think all of my librarian villagers, but we're going to change it to Fletchers in the future. So we'll do with that what we will and just leave it at that. I did like this little alley area because there's like, there's a pathway that you can see without actually seeing how to get to it. I think that's pretty cool. But this is just like a little bench in the alley. If we walk around the building, we have some of our first villagers of the world. The first 4 like librarian pillars. We have a mending guy, we have a silk touch guy, efficiency 5, unbreaking 3. All the good stuff that you need early in the world. And this, of course, is also where the other path, where that path from down there is. It also wraps around the building to some area over here where we're going to eventually build, and then back down to this area at some point. Moving on from a freestyle L to a freestyle W, I loved this iron farm. I thought it looked so cool. It's a little goofy, I will admit, but concept to paper to, actually being in the world, this is a cool build. I love the art on the front of it. I love the look of the building, the factory-esque aesthetic, the little buttresses on the side of the building. The sign is probably one of my favorite parts, like this angle here, having the golem works, and then the golem on the front is super cool in my opinion. I love having the 2 entryways so we can get in from wherever. And then, of course, the function of this building is unmatched. Iron farms are like the best farms because iron is such a useful block. And it's good that we had this somewhat early in our world because we have been stacking up iron ever since. We have like 4 full shulker boxes of iron blocks in our storage building, or our house. And yeah, we've been collecting off this farm. The interior was also a lot of fun to deal with. I tried to do the same thing as a quarry where we're kind of telling a story with the iron itself, where it's being like melted down, casted into these gigantic things, and then worked down into smaller, more like workable pieces here and here, cut up into little bits and pieces, and then finally like fashioned into their final form over in this area, and then packaged and shipped out onto the dock, which we still need to build a crane. It's been way too long, and this crane in this back area have not been finished, but we'll finish this eventually. But I love this interior. I think it's just telling a story that I love with this world, and like creating a journey for the things that we're farming and we're creating. But up here we have a little admin office. This is actually where we AFK. And also we have a little barrel for our bone meal that we collect from all the poppies, which is a nice little bonus. But taking a break from the overworld, it's time we go and visit the Nether. Look at that, it's so cool. We're going to go a little bit off the beaten path for this one. I think I'm just going to show you everything in the Nether. We don't really have anything too important here or too linear in our episode progression that really needs to be shown off in order. So over here, this is just a portal, how I get to the mob farm. I don't remember actually what episode we did the mob farm in. I guess I could show you that later. But this is like our main area. This is how we originally got onto the Nether roof. But down here is where our actual Nether hub is. Yeah, this is our Nether hub. It's very small, and I like it, but at the same time, it's not very Nether-esque. I think the blackstone contrasts a little too heavily with the yellows and the browns. I was trying to do like a gold to jungle wood aesthetic here, and I don't know if it matches the Nether very well. This isn't something that we're going to change. We'll leave it as is. I think this transition is pretty cool. It goes from like the honeycomb that we use. It's supposed to be representative of the gold that we're getting in this area. The gold farm, whoa, I just fell. The gold farm up top there, and then the piglin bartering farm here. That's kind of why the honeycomb lines the area and there's gold everywhere. But I thought this transition was pretty cool, going from gold to raw gold to nether rack. I thought that was cool. And we also have a transition here, kind of blends into the nether rack there with the mangrove and the mangrove planks. But over here, this is our piglin farm that we get. We take all the gold from up there at the gold farm and we bring it here and we give it to these pig bros. They've given us a lot of goodies. I think most of these chests are empty. Yeah, like all the useful stuff like gravel. I think soul sand is empty. Yeah, basically your average normal bartering system. Pretty cool. I like the layout. I wish it were a little bit bigger. Sometimes the items back up, but you know, can't really do much about that. We're just going to leave it as is because we don't really need a big one. And then up here we have our ginormous gold farm. As you can see, I have a lot of levels right now because I was just here earlier AFKing while writing a script for another video. But this is where we get all of our gold. It's honestly mostly just for XP because it takes a lot to get a lot of gold. So eventually we might make like a looting 3 gold farm if we ever need a ton of gold. But so far we don't really need that much gold. This little wiring is, I mean, just item filters and item deleters and stuff like that. Nothing too complicated. It is super noisy though, so we are going to leave. You can see all the nether portals I have on top of the roof. That one goes to the end. That one goes to a future project that is technically a spoiler for now. Over there, I think, is deleted chunks. So that portal doesn't exist anymore, but I think it went to a mangrove swamp at one point. And then right here, we have these frogs that, coincidentally, we stole from that direction, the mangrove swamp. We do just need one more frog, I think the cold frog, which we might be able to breed here in the nether. So, you know, we might be doing something with that in the future. We have pretty much all their ducks lined up for us to do something there. Down here, this nether tunnel leads to our ancient city that we discovered. That's the one that we explored in an earlier episode. Actually, let's go look at that because I think it's pretty cool. And if you guys haven't seen that episode, maybe now is a good time for you to see it. I lied. This is this is the mining mesa. I obviously haven't been here in a while. Okay, so this nether portal, this nether tunnel is more like the mining sector because also this portal at the end of the tunnel is where we get all of our sand from. Nothing too special out here, just a gigantic hole in the desert, and also I think where we got our camels from. Yeah, I think that sounds right. And we also have a coral reef over there. That's where we got all of those coral plants for the trophy haul that we redid. Since I promised it, I am going to find that ancient city real fast, and we will get back to the tour after that. Aha, yes, this is the tunnel. Shoot. Okay. Well, that is interesting. Did I delete these chunks too? Oh my gosh, I have a problem. I really should stop deleting chunks. And there we are. Okay. Since I've already been here and I've already explored, I'm just gonna use cheat cam and a little bit of gamma enhancement, and we're going to show off this cool ancient city. See, it's just basically an ancient city and a lush cave. It looks pretty cool without the gamma on. With the gamma on, it looks a little bit better because, you know, YouTube compresses videos. But this was our first ancient city that we explored, and currently it is unexplored because somehow I forgot that there was an ancient city here and deleted the chunks. That's on me. Pretty silly of me, but we're gonna move on. Meow. Maybe we'll go and reconquer that on like a live stream or something. Now, I believe there is only one more thing that I need to show you in the Nether, another little off-camera project that I've been working on. We haven't done much building in the Nether, so there's not much that I can show you, but there is just this last little thing. Surprise! I made a wither skeleton farm off camera. Oh, I'm such a bad YouTuber. This was our very recent project. I worked on this probably for the last like 50 days. This is the most recent thing I've done in this world. But yeah, we made a wither skeleton farm. We completely cleared out this entire area. Well, wait, I guess we didn't clear it out. We covered this entire area. And let me tell you, my wrist hurts. It's not carpal tunnel, but you know, it's a little bit of tendonitis going on. Gotta stretch it out a little bit here and there, but this project was a doozy, and obviously we are not done with it. There's no killing chamber on this side. The reason I did pick this farm, I guess I should tell you, there were two crossways right here, and it was, you know, mostly over a lava pool. Boy, that was that misleading. There were so many slabs that I placed. I might actually have to look at the statistics, but this is now a really high producing wither skeleton farm. We've gotten, I think, about a stack and a half of wither skeleton skulls in like, I don't know, 30 minutes, I don't know how long I've actually been here. But yeah, this was a doozy of a project that we still need to finish because it is not done. Honestly, I might condense it into just one killing chamber somehow, but yeah, there's a lot that we still need to do with this, so don't worry, you didn't miss out on too much. You just basically missed out on the grindy work, which I didn't really feel like would make a good video, but this part is so cool. Yeah, at some point, that's a wall. At some point we'll come back here and actually do stuff with this farm, but I'm gonna look forward while I'm flying in the Nether. Not today, and probably sometime in the future, I'm sure, but most likely on a live stream because I do really plan on live streaming sometime soon. I just have to set up my second monitor and also gain the courage to talk to people live while also playing a video game, so that'll be fun. Now, while I'm thinking about it, actually, before we leave the Nether, we're going to use this portal and go over to our mob farm. I believe I made this whenever we did that, the Netherite episode. I think this was a creeper farm originally, and now I have since converted it into a, just an all mobs farm, but this still gives us plenty of gunpowder. I think I was AFK here for like 45 minutes to an hour or something earlier, and yeah, got plenty of mob drops. Now, as it comes into beautiful view, episode 13, I believe it was, episode 15 actually, we built this mountain. This thing is completely free-handed. I love how it came out. It provides such a beautiful, such a beautiful backdrop to our base and just looks incredible from practically every angle. I mean, some angles look a lot better than others, but all in all, for our first mountain, a lot of these, by the way, if you didn't know, I haven't been playing Minecraft very long, so all of these projects here are basically a first for everything. Like first quarry, first iron farms, first mountains, stuff like that. A lot of this is very brand new to me, but for a mountain, I thought this came out very well. This backside is pretty ugly, but the front side and the view that actually matters is not that bad. So yeah, coming around here, you can see it kind of goofy looking, but I do have plans for this later on that I can't disclose at this current time. But don't worry, we are not done with this mountain. There's still a lot of plans I have for this area, and I'm really excited about it, actually. It's probably going to be another winter project. Like this one was a spring break project, so this will be like a winter break project, I guess, for me. But I am talking too much about it, and I don't want to spoil anything, so we are going to move on to episode 16, our first mega build and our first light Matica build. This is the Villager Town Hall. and it actually doesn't do anything currently. It just sits there and collects mobs apparently, and looks pretty. So, like I was just saying, I've never built much. I haven't built that much, but this town hall, I kind of took inspiration from some real life images, some of Aqualand images from Hermitcraft Season 7, I think that was. A lot of their designing like techniques and stuff with stairs and whatnot. I tried to take some inspiration from, but mostly I just kind of vibed and did what I thought a cool town hall would be. It's got a lot of like older town hall aesthetics in the front. Some town halls you'll see with like big domes, or like city halls and stuff have big domes on the top that are made out of like gold if they're pretentious or whatever. Ours is made out of bird poop because we know our worth. And no, not actually. It's made out of the polished diorite because I thought it looked cool. And I didn't have enough gold to do a gold roof, but I don't think I'll ever do that. I had a lot of fun designing this. I went through like the creative process on designing it, the different like shapes and stuff I use in that video. So if you have any like questions or anything, go check out that video and see if it answers it. But we had a lot of detail basically just all around this building. The interior is completely done. This kind of looks like a chunk error. Eventually we'll do some stuff in this area. I hope. We do have plans to finish this. This is supposed to be like the epicenter of all of our villager trading. We'll see if it still stays that. I'm kind of leaning towards something else at the moment. But, you know, this might be one of those things that we just do an interior refresh. It's completely laid out. We don't have any like detailed stuff, so it really wouldn't be that big of a loss. I did eventually want to put like a bunch of paintings everywhere that were kind of viewer suggested, but only like 4 people suggested paintings, and I kind of forgot about it. But that is something I do want to do at some point. We have some cool flooring and stuff in here. This is supposed to be like villager farms, those automatic like carrots, potatoes, stuff like that, tucked in there really nicely. We have this gigantic open area, which is supposed to be like a debate hall in a city hall, or like the city council chambers, I think is more accurate. But this was supposed to be like the main breeder area, and then also like those on either side is where the breeders are. Lots of potential. Just haven't had a lot of motivation to work on this yet because villagers are kind of tiring. And yeah, as a centerpiece though, this thing is so cool. It sits at like where the center of our town is going to be, like our main road is going to be in this area. We've got a lot of these. If you didn't know, these are like little layout areas for some stuff we're going to build here in the future. This is basically all the plans that we talked about earlier in the trophy hall that we wanted to lay out on that map. And once we fill out this entire area, I think that map will be done. But we still have a lot of work to do in the meantime. Um, and this town hall was kind of like the first build of the town, and I thought it came out really well. I don't think that the theme will carry across most of what we put in this area, and I think that's okay. But it really it does its own thing. It's very imposing, and I think it looks cool. All right, and moving on from a gigantic build to a rather small build that I'm sure most of you don't know much about. This is, I think, my least watched survival series video, and I don't really care about that, but that just means a lot of you haven't seen it yet, and maybe now is the perfect time to show it off. This is our little bee apiary. When we put this here, I always wanted to have like a bee apiary in the vicinity to kind of like say, hey, I'm sorry for imprisoning these bees and putting them to work. Here's a little shelter for the rest of the bees in the world that maybe don't have to be put to work, or maybe they're retired bees or something like that. But I felt bad, so we built this building. And this came out really well. I love all of the sunlight, the glass that comes through. And you can see, obviously, a lot of the greenery in this inside. And we'll go and take a look at that now. We have a cool pathway up here. I thought the red brick and the dark oak go really well together. Same with the mangrove. It kind of creates a very, very nice aesthetic. But inside, we have double doors because they're bees. And lots of bees and flowers in here. This is the main area. It's supposed to be like a greenhouse type of thing. So a lot of sunlight gets let in and helps grow all of these plants and nourish them. We have water piping everywhere, lots of water, and hydroponic systems to hydrate all these flowers and plants and stuff like that. We've got a bunch of grass and moss all over the floor. In terms of details, this was probably one of my most like packed, detailed areas. I really loved experimenting and putting all this stuff together, creating some ruined areas, some interesting plant life, and Henry. And we also have some other stuff here at the back. This is where the main like hive area is. Not a lot of bees like to fly around, but I still hear them. So I really hope that they're still alive. They really like artwork, so I put a lot of paintings everywhere. That's this world's lore, is that all the bees love beautiful paintings. And then at the back here, we have some thematic doors. Try and guess what's behind each of one of them. We'll start with this one. Boom, nothing, because we haven't finished that area yet. But this one is, boom, a hallway down to our copper aging facility that is not done yet. It's laid out. We have all of these little places where we put our copper, but it's kind of just a gross looking room. We might do something with it eventually. We might not. I don't really know. It's kind of up in the air. You can see a lot of redstone bits poking out here and there. That is part of the bamboo farm that I will show you at some point. And this is the mangrove farm that I guess I could show you now. And yeah, it's a mangrove farm, and yeah, it's mangrove farm. Not much else I could say about it, I guess. I really hate farming mangrove trees, so I just kind of gave up and was like, you know what? I'm just going to make a farm and call it that. And this farm is a lifesaver. So really glad I did that, and no regrets. Now, up this bubble vader, bubble column, water vader thingy, we have the interior of the mountain, which there was a mountain in place of this mountain at one point, but I have since very obviously destroyed that part of the mountain, and now we have a hollow mountain, which I thought was kind of cool aesthetically. I wanted to fit like a bunch of farms in here. So far we have four, one, two, three, four. Yeah, four different farms. This farm is a pain in the butt. I guess actually we might have five. This farm is a pain in the butt. It's really cool. It works really well, but I have broken it so many times by unloading it while it's moving that I have just given up. I rebuilt it. It works fine. It's not on a timer anymore. I just push a button whenever I want sugarcane. This is the top of the bee farm. Or not the bee farm, but that little apiary place. We have some neat little water tricks up here to create like a dripping effect. I think there's a banner captain up there. We have a very, very nice lava array that I use occasionally. I use a very quick and dirty furnace setup here and a bunch of lava and stuff to smelt all that stone into smooth stone for all those smooth stone slabs that I use for the perimeter of the wither farm. That was a fun like 4-hour wait. We really need a super smelter at some point. But right here is the collection point for the 3 different farms we have in this little area. Sugarcane farm, pretty obviously. Down here we have a bamboo farm that needs a lot more lights in it to be a bit more productive. And then we have a cactus farm. That's it gets the job done. I don't need that much cactus, so you know, little thing here. I do eventually want to create a different cactus farm. I have an idea for one that I think is really cute, and I think it'd be a lot of fun to work on. But basically, this is the Ilmango sugarcane farm. It's really, really fancy, and I could not be... Well, I guess I could try and explain it to you, but it would be a lot of spaghetti talk, and I don't know if anybody would actually understand me, but it does a lot of fancy things. It loads up this flying machine with a bunch of hopper minecarts that you're going to see in a second once it's done loading. And yeah, collects all the sugarcane, and pretty cool. Very noisy though. And once that activates, this sends a signal down and around to this flying machine over here that harvested the bamboo and went back to its place. And then that is collected all by mine carts down at the bottom, and that is where that wiring that we saw in the copper room all leads to. Pretty cool, but this was kind of a part of that bee episode, and then so was this area here. This is our honey farm. We have a little bit of honey stored up, but all the bottles come here. It's a very simple, very basic honey farm. Not much going on here. Outside, we have another cool, thematically appropriate build. It kind of matches the other one, except it's missing some granite. But it's dark oak themed, it's bee themed. It's kind of nestled into the bottom of our mountain, and this is the main way that we get in and out of the mountain area in those farms here. And this little pathway from this area down here is my favorite pathway that I've created so far. I think I love the aesthetic. These are my first like custom trees that I've made. And you know, having this little alleyway here with the particles here and there, the greenery and everything, it really matches the aesthetic of bee vibes and nature and everything like that. And I just really love the way that it came out. And I'm a little sad that not as many people saw it, but now is a good opportunity for you to see it. And hopefully you enjoy it and think it is as cool as I do. But now we're moving on to some other stuff. some more underground stuff. Over here at the back of this mountain, you probably saw this earlier, but we have a little cave. Right here is where I keep all of my skeleton horses that I never use, but they are all here. We have some issues with the flying machine that came in there. Kind of got in the way, but this is a really cool area. I thought having these bones kind of act like as a rib cage in the mountain is like maybe there was a dead dragon or something here that kind of got buried under the mountain. Maybe, I don't know. You can think of some more reasons why there's gigantic rib cage bones here, but aesthetically it matches the bone horses rather obviously. And I really enjoyed putting this together. I honestly, I should just stop saying that because I enjoy putting all of my builds together. But this part I thought was really cool too. I've built on like doing storytelling and journeys and stuff like that, and I think this was really a culmination of me learning how to tell a story through a journey. And I really enjoyed this part. So this leads down to our amethyst farm. And obviously, we have a little ominous message at the beginning: do not open, they will watch you. So if we open this door and ignore that warning, we come down into this cave. Nothing too crazy, nothing too out of the ordinary. Maybe this was a cave that some miners came through. They were quarrying out a little bit. You can see some rock formations, some lanterns. Obviously, some people have been here. But if we work our way down into the cave, it gets a little bit quieter, gets a little bit darker, and a little bit more ominous, like something is maybe approaching. It looks like maybe there's like some kind of a camp down here and some miners and we have, what on earth is this? It looks like a mining camp, or what? Is this like some ancient ruins? What is this? Whoa. Is this a portal to another dimension? I feel like it's calling me in. Yeah, no, that's it's an amethyst farm that there are 2 or 3 geodes here actually that I converted into a fully flooded amethyst farm. And I had a lot of fun trying to come up with like the story of why this is down here. I really thought that these sculk blocks created like a starry night aesthetic, and I loved it, and I couldn't not do that for this area, especially having the conduit give us night vision. You can see a lot better, and these look like floating planets, or maybe some space clusters of rock or debris that are kind of just floating in like a nebula or something like that. I really just wanted to have fun like this and feel like you're being transported into a different world. And maybe this portal isn't the best kind of transition area, but I love standing here because the conduit is right underneath us. So if we're quiet, we can hear that heartbeat, and that I thought was really cool. But this is supposed to be like an ancient alien kind of temple ruin that they discovered. In you probably can't really see it that well because of a YouTube compression, but it's supposed to be like a mining camp that was uncovering this, and then they all mysteriously disappeared, and no one knows where they are today. But everyone knows to stay away from this area. We'll take a little bit of a look with the gamma override so you can kind of see what's going on. We had like a roaster pit over here, general camp stuff, and then this little floor down here that's kind of like a, I'm blanking on the name for whatever this is, like a gradient, maybe atmospheric floor. I don't know. It looks, you can't really see anything in the dark, but it looks really cool. And then, yeah, this is supposed to be like the wall of an ancient alien temple that's buried underneath this mountain. But I thought this was a really cool culmination of my storytelling and like coming up with reasons for builds and journeys to get to builds and stuff like that, and creating kind of like a visual aesthetic journey for your eyes and your understanding for builds. It also incorporates some function into it, and I was really proud of it. And I think we have a lot to work on, but I think we're in a good place. And for the future, it makes me really excited. I did really hate coming up here though, so I usually just fly and pop a totem eventually. Moving on. Next, we come to one of the less buildy episodes, but nonetheless grindy episodes. We have a triple slime chunk. I dubbed myself the Slime Slicer. I killed hundreds of slime while making this thing. We dug out thousands, if not Probably not a million, but maybe hundreds of thousands of blocks while doing this. We used some TNT mining, uh, good old pickaxe mining, but this was a grind. Three different slime chunks being dug out is a little bit crazy, and might be a little bit of a psychopath for doing this. We don't ever need this much slime, but we have it in case we ever do. Pretty cool shot though, seeing all this here. uh, yeah, we have a lot more grindy projects in the future, I'm sure, but this was by far one of the most grindiest so far. And we have a little collection area underneath here, and more than enough slime. Now, episode 20 and 21, we didn't really do any building. They're titled YouTubers Side Quests and the Great Wither Skeleton Experiment. I don't remember what exactly we did in the side quest episode, but I do remember the Wither Skeleton Experiment, and that was basically just a very quick video that I could get out before I went on vacation somewhere. We found out that you can't get more than one Wither Skeleton head from just one charge creeper, so that was interesting. But that leads us over to the horse area. This has populated the last couple 100 days of this world, maybe even the last 1,000 days. But this project has been probably the biggest project that I've worked on in this world, even like with the mountain. That was a lot of blocks, but not a lot of details, and this area has those details. This was the first bit of the area that we worked on. We kind of transformed this little coastline here and made it a little more aesthetically pleasing. Obviously, it's not really done right now. It's kind of gross looking still when you have to go back in and kind of redo the terraforming a little bit. But we worked on this area here, this house here, this chateau. I think it's called the Chateau du Cheval, the House of the Horse. And this is kind of like the main, the owner of this area lives here at this horse. And this whole area is supposed to be a horse racetrack that we just haven't finished yet. We have stables here. We have a raceway that's kind of laid out here. And over here, we have a horse sanctuary that is done. But this area is La Chateau. Oh, no. Oh, no. I got the name wrong. Okay. Welcome to La Maison du Cavalier, Mansion of Horse, maybe the Horse Rider. I don't know. Google Translate is a nasty thing to play around with. I'm sorry if there are any French people watching. Bonjour, oui oui, and baguette and all that stuff. But this is the house. It's no interior yet, but the house outside is done, and there aren't windows. Oh no, never mind. Hold on, I'm tripping. This area is done. The house is really cool. It looks like a very medieval aesthetic. I'm blanking on the name for this aesthetic. But it's something. It works. It looks cool. I like the colors. The backside looks cool too. It's finished, unlike some people's builds. We got a nice fence line around here and some flowers and walkway. I really like this walkway, actually. I'm probably going to incorporate this more, but I think these colors really go well together and it looks really cool. But moving on, we're going to go up to the horse sanctuary itself. I'm going to say this area is probably like 95% of the way done. I'm sure there's something I could add, but I don't really know off the top of my head what that would be. But this build, I really enjoyed. It's like my first land transformation build. Yeah, we did a lot of work here. We did a lot of building. This took me so long to do, but I had a lot of fun with it. And now that I can call it 95% of the way done, I am extremely happy about that. I love the terraining. I fiddled around with it a lot. Loved what I did with like the vegetation, little plots of flowers here and there. I think the aesthetic came out really nicely. I wish the grass were a different color because this is like a gravel mountain area, so the grass looks like dookie, but the rest of it looks really pretty. It's also why we use these azalea leaves, is because every other leaf would have looked really, really bad. I love this pond area. It didn't really look good whenever we first put a pond in here, but we kind of widened it and made it fit into the terrain a little bit better and just kind of worked with it, and it came out really, really nice. Over here, we have a nice little pavilion that... Oh, I didn't mean to hit the rocket. We have a nice little pavilion here that matches the aesthetic of the pavilion that we have over there at our Hall of Trophies. Right here is where the horse people train. This is an older training ground, but they have like a little pseudo racetrack around here. Some stands for people to watch, some places where they can practice their jumping. One of the biggest like parts of this project was, I guess, breeding a really fast horse. And actually, speak of that, I think this is one of our fastest horses. 14.227 blocks is one of the fastest horses that you can get in Minecraft. I think the fastest is like 14.3 or 14.4, something like that. So we're a little bit off still, but I bred and killed like way too many horses, and my conscience in good name will not allow me to kill any more. Many more. I could probably still kill a few horses, but I don't want to do that, at least not on camera. But moving around, we have a little feeding area. We have the big stables, which is where like most of the horses stay, where there's a lot of rooms and stuff for them. And then back out here, one of my favorite builds. This is the Tinkerer's Workshop. I thought the aesthetic for this came out really well. I tried to like kind of mirror Pearlescent Moon's build style in a way where it's these like darker earthy tones and weird shapes that kind of go in different areas. But you can also see some of the inspiration with her Hermit Crab season 9 stuff with like the trash lady. But mostly like this roof design was my idea. I really just kind of used like her color aesthetic was what I kept in mind. And then the interior detailing as well. She was a big inspiration for some of this stuff. But we created a very, very cool looking workshop, a very cool building that's very open. And I think it serves its purpose. It's supposed to be like the area where all the horses go and they get their little clompers fixed. Horseshoes, they're called horseshoes, and fitted for that. It's also where they fix the wagons and everything like that. Yeah, I love playing around with the detailing because I learned a lot and got to practice a lot with this build. And also with this build, our little Tinkerer's Cottage, very witch-esque aesthetic, very down to earth, rounded, groundy. The Tinkerer, if you didn't know, this is also more Coda lore. The Tinkerer loves torch flowers. He's got torch flowers everywhere in his little Tinkerer workshop, and even some burnt ones that were a little too close to the furnace. But a little bit of lore for this little corner of our world. And inside here, we have a cozy little interior, a little bunk bed in case he ever has a friend over, and a little kitchen area, little wardrobe here. Just some fun stuff that I was able to tuck into this little area. But that was pretty much it for this entire build, this horse sanctuary, training ground, whatever I want to call it. This is kind of like a little speed thing, whatever they're monitoring the trainees. Yeah, and some ruins, I guess, up here. I went into a lot of detail on the actual video itself. So if you are curious about any of these videos, any of these things, hopefully the timestamps worked and you could see most of the videos that you want to see and go and watch them. I'm trying to think of what I have done since then. I don't. Oh my goodness, we are out of videos. That was the last video that I did, and I did skip one. I skipped the 1.20 update one, but we didn't do much with that. We got some sniffers, and that was pretty much it. We haven't done much with them since then because we've been kind of occupied with the horse stuff, and we just did a lot of exploration. Now that like I'm done talking about everything, it does feel like a lot. Going into this world tour, I didn't feel like I had that much to be like proud of, that much to show off. But now that I'm going through like all the episodes and stuff, we really have packed a good 20 some episodes that we're actually building into this world. We have, a couple episodes here and there that are kind of not really build heavy, and that's okay. But every episode we have added something substantial to this world, and I am proud of that. I think this world has come a long way. I've come a long way as a builder. You can definitely see how much I've improved. I haven't played, for those of you that don't know, I kind of started playing Minecraft in like the 1.16 update, but I didn't really build that much. I was just kind of playing as your normal Minecrafter. But starting this YouTube channel, starting this journey here, I've really tried to get better at building, and I think you can see that the evidence kind of speaks for itself. And I still have a lot of ideas for this area, still have a lot of energy, some passion, and I'm excited. Above all else, I'm just very excited to fill out this world and create something beautiful together with you, my viewers, and I look forward to it. It's gonna be fun. But with that being said, dramatically, I didn't time this, but very dramatically, almost picturesque, the sun is setting on this day, on this world tour. We are done. It is day 30, 36. Spent about 6 days doing this tour. My goodness. I'm sure there's stuff that I forgot to show you. Actually, I see something right now. That Just so you know, that is a little storage building. That is where we keep all of our rocks because we ran out of shulker boxes. Can I see anything else? I don't think I can. The admiral was sitting out there at some point, but we'll get another statue out there, ruining the end of this video. The end, world tour, 3,000 days. We'll go over the statistics really fast. Yeah, a lot of animals bred. Opened a ton of barrels and chests for some reason. See what's some cool ones. I've dealt 184,852 damage. That's kind of crazy. I've taken 28,000 damage to the face, always. I've crouched a whopping 389 kilometers. I crouch a lot, I guess. That's nearly half of what I've flown. What? 746.95 kilometers. That's more than half of what I've flown. How have I crouched more than half of what I've flown? Oh my gosh. Sprinted nearly 1,000 kilometers, walked over 1,000, walked a lot underwater, flown a lot by elytra. Wow. Opened 8,000 ender chests. That's crazy. I've never actually looked at these statistics, so this is kind of cool to see. I've only interacted with the loom 9 times, and I guarantee you that was 9 accidents. I never touch a loom. I've jumped 472,000 times. Every time I sprint, I jump. So that's probably why that number is so high. Killed 169,000 mobs. Crazy. Potted 37 plants, and Henry is one of them. Love Henry. He's a quirky little dude. I've only triggered 4 raids. Oh, that's a little embarrassing. I haven't won as many as I've triggered. I guess that's about right. 27,000 shulker boxes. I've spent 4 days sneaking. That makes sense. Time played. 29.33 days played. It's been 13.5 days since my last death. That's kind of crazy. Like I said, about 5 days with the world open, just AFK. 2,000 nights slept in the bed, which I guess kind of adds up. About missing about 800 days there that we've spent awake. Traded with villagers all too many times. If I never see a villager again and I could just automatically have the items in my inventory, I totally would. But villagers are kind of a necessary evil, and that kind of sucks. But they're, it is what it is. Can't really change everything about the game. Look at these little block statistics. Netherrack does not surprise me that I've mined the most netherrack. Oh no, okay, that's how that works. I guess that makes more sense. Honestly, not that crazy amounts of items here mined. What's a weird one? Let's see. 7,000 grass blocks. Wow, I've mined more grass blocks than I have sugarcane. That's kind of crazy. Azalea. Oh, dark oak leaves. Yeah, is that the highest leaf? Yeah, weirdly enough, that's the highest leaf. I think I only use this for like outlining fields. Can I see how many diamonds I've mined? Copper, oxidized copper. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, diamond ore blocks, 1,367 plus however many just regular ore diamonds there are. Oh, there it is. 40, only 42? Wow. Okay, 1,367 and 42, 1,409. That's how many diamond ores I have mined. I feel like, should it be higher than that? I don't know. Well, that'd be a fun subscriber special, though. Mine a diamond ore for every subscriber you have. That would take forever. I want to find ancient debris now, and I think we'll leave it at that. I don't know where it would be, though. I wish there was like a search option. Oh, there it is. 341. How many ingots is that? About 85 ingots. Okay. I guess that makes sense. Definitely not enough for a beacon. Nowhere near that. Okay. Now let's look at how many times we have broken stuff. I've broken a couple of things here. A couple of netherite tools. Unfortunately, only 2. Oh, how about that? Only 2 netherite tools. Let's see how many times I've used some of these tools. Crafted a ton of bone meal. I've used a netherite pickaxe 552,000 times and a shovel about half that. Axe about 70,000, the hoe about 55,000. I'm kind of surprised that the netherite hoe is higher than the diamond pickaxe, but I guess that makes sense. And yeah, that's pretty much all the interesting stuff. And now let's go to mobs. We'll just slowly scroll through this and see if anything kind of sticks out. And I'm kind of calling myself out here. There's probably some undesirable statistics that I'm about to show you. Yep, 1,016 horses. That is 1,015 too many. Killed 1,000 shulkers. 6,000 skeletons. I wonder how many wither skeletons I've killed by now. 56 wandering traders. Wither skeleton. 2,133 wither skeletons. Wow. and 15 withers. Have I ever been killed by anything? Oh, a skeleton killed me once. I think that was early days, and I think an enderman killed me. Yeah, enderman, just once though. So I've only been killed by 2 mobs, I think. That's impressive. I think the most of my deaths have just been my own fault. which is a good thing. How many times have I died? One last statistic. Oh, number of deaths right there, 6. Okay. Yeah, so 4 of those were me just falling. Oh, I love that for me, but I really hope you all enjoyed this world tour. Definitely probably my longest video ever. If you are new to the channel, welcome. I hope you enjoyed it. In case you're curious, both of my teas are now room temperature, but my water is still cold, thankfully, because it's in a thermos. And yeah, lots of big plans for the future, lots of builds to do, lots of stuff to learn still. And with that, I hope you all enjoyed today's episode. And ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a wonderful day.